This episode is both a ritual and a reckoning. I'm releasing the fear of being judged and stepping fully into my voice. If you're ready to reclaim your power under this dark moon and eclipse, come with me. Hey friends, welcome back to Song Witch. I'm so glad that you're here with me. I'm your host, Tammy, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what this show is going to be about today. So we're in a powerful moment astrologically right now. We are between eclipses, and I'll go into a little bit more detail about that later. But we're right on the edge of a fiery new moon solar eclipse in Aries, which occurs tomorrow. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the dark moon, which is tonight. And we're going to do a little ritual together to release what no longer is serving us. So take a breath, get comfy, and maybe grab a journal. Let's begin. I was just having a moment of reflection as I was walking through the forest to this beautiful overflowing river. And that thought was, there's ups and downs, right, in life. And when I would have a down, even if it was just not like a super stressful, dramatic down, even if it was just kind of a melancholy, like, just not feeling it today kind of down. Even when I was feeling like that, it's like I would be so afraid that I was never going to come out of that I would just kind of dwell on it. And it would make me really anxious. It's like I couldn't see past where I was at in that moment. And I wasn't aware of the cycles. And it's not just the lunar cycles, but there's cycles. There's so many cycles in life. There's seasons, there's, I don't know. There's lots of cycles. And I knew this, but I wasn't like practicing or living my life in alignment with those cycles. So as I'm walking out here to my little destination, I was thinking about that, and I was like, because yesterday I was feeling really out of sorts. I was like stressing about the podcast and getting this episode done in time for the dark moon, and I made a mistake. I thought the dark moon was tomorrow, and it's actually today. So now I've had to like speed up everything today, and I had like a bunch of stuff I was doing today and appointments and stuff. Anyway, so I had to pivot and just make sure that I'm going faster than I had anticipated. So yesterday when I was having my blah day, I remember thinking, it's all good, Tammy. Just flow with it. Being stressed out about it and worried and anxious isn't gonna help anything. And so I just kind of flowed through my day and just tried to do some self-care, and like my hair is bugging me. Just try to do some self-care, and I drank some tea and just made like a cozy place to sit and just work on my podcast, and it was awesome. I got a lot done. But I just think that I just wanted to acknowledge that level of growth that I've made, because that's huge for me. I'm almost 50. I'll be 50 this year in June, and I'm just now learning that. But you know what? I'm grateful that I'm learning it at all, because some people go through their whole life without growing and learning. And I am grateful for the lessons. I'm grateful for all of it. Hashtag grateful. All right, let's get to this. So we've been in what astrologers call the eclipse portal. The eclipse portal is the 2 weeks between eclipses. So we just had a lunar eclipse a couple of weeks ago that was in the full moon, like I said. And now it's been almost tomorrow it'll be 2 weeks. So then we're going to have a solar eclipse tomorrow on the new moon. And apparently this is a pattern that always happens when there's one eclipse, then 2 weeks later another one follows. And so they call this the time between the eclipses or the eclipse portal. So this past 2 weeks, I've definitely felt the energy of what they call the eclipse portal. I've just it's kind of like an in-between feeling, like I don't know, like you're in limbo. It's like you're in a hallway and you're not quite the person that you used to be, and you're also not the person that you're going to be yet, because eclipses are all about transformation. The energy just catapults you into transformation, whether you're ready, whether you want to or not. It's not really, we don't really have a choice in the matter. It's the universe at work. So, I've really felt this kind of lull happen these past 2 weeks, whereas I kind of thought I was getting some momentum and, Saint, get out of there. And, having some forward action on the podcast again after like having a few months of being stuck. But then this last few weeks, I kind of felt like I was stuck again, and I was a little worried about it. So I started like reading and researching it to see, what's going on in the planetary transits and the cosmos and all that good stuff. And sure enough, I found out about this eclipse portal. So now, last year, almost this exact same time, it was March 2024, right at the end of March 2024, there was a big eclipse. But I remember, that if you've watched any of my former podcasts, I talk about an awakening. That was it. That's when it started. It was that eclipse. Yeah, so I had this big awakening last year, and I think it's so cool that here we are, another eclipse in March, a year later, and it's almost as if I've been in a big eclipse portal this entire year, because it's not just that 2 weeks between lunar and solar eclipses, but it's a whole 12 months between having this big spiritual awakening. And like I called it quantum jumping. I felt like I quantum jumped into another like dimension of thought, and I had this huge like I had these huge epiphanies, and it was just massive transformation and growth. And I wrote a song and made a music video, like all within the span of like, I don't know, a month or something. It was amazing. So then a lot of stuff has happened since then. This past year, I've told you guys some of it, but I'm going to do an episode soon where I just really kind of go through it all so you know exactly what happened. He's 5.5 years old and he still acts like a puppy. I love it. I hope he never loses that youth. What a cutie pie. What are you doing? Yeah, so I just kind of had that thought the last few days as I've been reading about this eclipse portal. I went and looked. I was like, I had a big awakening at the eclipse last year. I wonder when that was. And sure enough, it was the end of March. So I was like, yeah, I think this last year has kind of been like a holding pattern almost, like where it's been preparing me for this next phase of my growth. This is huge. I thought I had gone through so many transformations already in my life that I was like slowing down, and I was like, oh, just ride it out through the end of my days. um, I was not expecting this massive transformation that I've had this year, but it has been the biggest gift and the biggest blessing that I've ever could have imagined, and I'm so grateful. Anyway, this I think is the end of that 1 year eclipse portal that I've been in. And so the solar eclipse that's happening tomorrow on the new moon in Aries. It's all about, like, Aries is all about fire. It's a fire sign. It's about like getting shit done. Like, it's about courage, being bold. Even if you don't, have a map in front of you, trusting the path and just, trusting your instincts and going with it. And I'm all for it. Like, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the energy. It's exciting because I feel very aligned for the first time. I mean, I've had like glimpses of alignment throughout my life, and more so in the past few years, but I feel like I'm definitely aligned, and I'm ready. I'm ready for what's to come, and I'm excited. Okay, so as I said, tonight is the dark moon. The dark moon is the day before the new moon. It's when there is no moon and the sky is just completely dark. And so this time represents release, letting go, making room for the new things to come in the next lunation. So we release today on the dark moon, and then tomorrow on the new moon we set our intentions for the lunation coming up. Because if we have all this old stagnant energy, it's just going to hold us back. It's going to be hard to bring in new, light, airy, positive things. So it's alchemy, baby. So the dark moon's also about endings. So you could be feeling something coming to an end. It could be a relationship with someone. It could be the type of relationship that you have with yourself. Maybe that's dying, and maybe you're meant to move into a new phase of your life and your identity. And then eclipses accelerate change. They bring a massive amount of energy and power to whatever it is that's going on in the cosmos. They accelerate change, transformation, spiritual growth. So this particular eclipse is in Aries, and Aries is about fire, as I said, and getting things done and moving things forward. So this eclipse in Aries is all about our identities. It's about finding our voice, our worthiness. It's about our relationship with ourselves and with others. It's about taking action and instinct. So listening to our intuition and really following through on that. This eclipse asks, who are you becoming? And are you brave enough to begin, even without the whole map? This eclipse is also dealing with the North Node. Now, I don't know a lot about that, what that means exactly, but I did just find out that my North Node is in Scorpio. And I do know that our North Node is about our life path, our destiny, what we're destined to become in our life. And since Aries is all about initiation and courage and self-definition, this is some bold energy that we have going on here. And it's the kind that says, I'm ready to start. Even if I don't have it all figured out yet, I'm ready. Let's do this. The Aries energy can feel kind of fiery and independent and impatient. So if you've been feeling that way lately, or you have been around someone who's been feeling that way lately, that, that's right on course for this energy here. That's why it's important to stay grounded. Grounding helps us to stay present and mindful, and helps us calm our nervous system. And interestingly enough, my North Node is in Scorpio. And Scorpio, as I said earlier, is all about transformation and deep spiritual healing, and deep spiritual transformation. So it's, again, very apropos that this eclipse would be all about my spiritual transformation, because it's about the North Node. And it's kind of poetic when you think about it. How I said that this past year I've been in an eclipse portal, and it just makes sense that the ending of that portal and the beginning of my new life is dealing with the North Node, which is, my North Node is in Scorpio, and that's all about spiritual transformation. It's just so poetic. It's beautiful. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Life is beautiful. So one other thing I do want to point out with this eclipse, it could bring the energy to want to release people and relationships from your life that aren't serving you. And so if you're feeling that, understand that that's the universe speaking to you. It's a call to start something new, even if it's messy. Sometimes the universe doesn't wait for everything to just be calm and easy, and quite the contrary. I think sometimes the universe kind of throws us into things sometimes, but sometimes that's what we need in order to grow and evolve. We need kind of a shock to our system, so to speak, such as the human condition. And then lastly, it's the urge to speak your truth directly. And that's kind of where I'm falling this eclipse, is just learning to be more direct in my communication in all things, in my relationships and in my podcast. Not being afraid of being judged or how people are going to perceive me, but just being my authentic self and trusting that the rest will fall into place as it should. Sometimes I have these intrusive thoughts that tell me that I'm dumb, or what I'm saying is dumb, or that people are going to think I'm dumb. And I used to have such a fear of how people would perceive me. Well, if you've seen my previous episodes, I'm a recovering people pleaser, and that's typical people pleasing behavior. Because I want everyone to like me. I want everyone to love me. But that's not reality. And then sometimes I think I should stop doing this podcast because I don't have a lot of views or a lot of subscribers yet. Tammy, yet. But I'm not really one to just give up on something so easily. And this challenge has been so fun. It really lights me up. It gives me life. It makes me feel like I'm living my purpose when I'm shooting film and talking about my life and my spirituality and the struggles and the happiness and the joy and the gratitude and everything, the full spectrum. I get embarrassed sometimes because I think people will think I'm desperate for attention, or I have an ego. Yeah. Anyway, when I let those thoughts just kind of float away through the stream of consciousness, like a raft on a river, just floating downstream, until they're just a faint memory and I can no longer see them or hear them or feel them anymore. When I do that, I'm left with that realization that this gives me life and this is right where I'm supposed to be. It ignites something in me that I don't quite fully understand yet, but I'm starting to. The more I study my chart, the more I realize I was meant for this. I was meant for podcasting and mixing that with my spirituality and my coaching and my art and my creativity and my music. All of those things together are what I was meant for. I was meant to share my stories so that I can help others heal and transform just like I am right now. So the theme for me this eclipse is really centered around identity and stepping fully into my authentic self. It's about my relationship with myself. It's about feeling worthy and loving myself. And it's about finding my voice and following my instincts and my intuition. It has asked me to fully step into my purpose and embrace it full throttle and say, hold on, baby, hold on to your butts. Because here we go. So this eclipse can just catapult me into my dream life, which is my true path. That's what everybody's true path is, their dream life. I don't know. I lost touch with my dreams for a long time. But I'm back. I'm back, baby. So now I just want to tell you guys a story. It's about the goddess Hekate. If you've watched some of my earlier podcasts, particularly the one where I have a conversation with Moonchild, who is my niece, you'll see something super magical happened with the goddess Hekate. So my niece Moonchild and I are sitting there and we're about to do an oracle reading, and I'm shuffling the cards, and as I'm shuffling them, she's saying to me, Jojo, which is what my nieces and nephew call me. She says, Jojo, I really think that Hekate is your deity. And because there's this thing in witchcraft where, you can resonate or connect with a deity or multiple deities. And then you can call them in during rituals and things like that. But so she's telling me that Hecate is my deity, and I'm like, really, that's cool. I've been thinking about her, and as we're talking, a card falls out of my hands, and my niece says, "Oh my God, no way. That is Hecate's card that just fell out." So that was pretty telling right there. There have been some other signs and synchronicities that have come up with Hecate. And the more I read about her, the more I'm actually convinced now. There's not even any question about it for me anymore. But she resonates with me so hard because so Hecate she's called the guardian Hecate is a powerful goddess of magic and shadow work and intuition and transition. She rules the crossroads, helping souls navigate endings, beginnings, and initiations. Hecate is a torchbearer, walking through the dark to bring light and truth. She helps you reclaim what has been hidden or feared, especially feminine power, voice, and spiritual authority. So calling her in during this time is perfect. She's the perfect deity to ask for help. So at this time, feel free to pause the podcast if you want to participate, and you can gather a candle and a bowl of water, or you can just sit with your breath. It's totally up to you. Okay, this is a dark moon ritual. It's called Reclaim the Voice, and it's about releasing negativity, intrusive thoughts, and making space to find your voice again and use it. So the things you'll need are a black or white candle or both. You'll need a small bowl of water and something sacred to you, either a key, a crystal, a flower, an oracle card. And then you'll need a journal or a piece of paper. And then you also want to have like your favorite tea or snack for when we're all done here. That's going to help ground you. Okay. The first step is to create your space. So dim your lights, light your candles, and your incense. Those are some long wicks. All right. Place your key or your item, your sacred item. I actually have a bunch of them here. I have a feather, a key, a shell, some sea glass, a baby pine cone, and my little pentacle charm here. So place whatever you brought in front of you and sit comfortably with your bowl of water nearby. I have a jar of moon water here that I charged in the last full moon eclipse. And so when we're ready to do that part of the ritual, I'll just pour a little bit in this bowl. And you don't need a big bowl, you just need a little tiny bowl. So here's the invocation. Say this out loud after me. I call upon the spirit of Hekate, keeper of the crossroads. Guide me as I release what no longer serves. Illuminate the path ahead, so I may walk with truth, courage, and sacred purpose. I'm going to do that one more time. I call upon the spirit of Hekate, keeper of the crossroads. Guide me as I release what no longer serves. Illuminate the path ahead, so I may walk with truth, courage, and sacred purpose. So now we're going to do the release. That was the invocation. Now it's the release. So go ahead and grab your journal and write down what you're releasing. I'll say what I'm releasing, but you don't have to do the same thing as me. If you want to, you can. As long as it resonates with you, then yeah, by all means. I release the fear of judgment. I release the need to be perfect. I release the belief that I must shrink to be safe. That one just hits hard. So now we're going to tear it up and we're going to burn it in a fire-safe dish. If you can't burn it, you can just tear it up. With ritual and witchcraft in general, it's all about intention. So don't think that you have to be perfect or, do rituals with very specific steps in mind. And, you can make it up as you go along. All right. So here's my fire safe dish. So as you tear it up, do it slowly, or as you burn it, do it slowly, and say as you do it, these fears are not mine. I release them to the dark moon. I make space for my voice. These fears are not mine. I release them to the dark moon. To make space for my voice. Continue burning as you say those affirmations. I'm going to move on to the next part of the ritual, which is the water blessing. So I'm going to take my moon water, and you can just use regular water. I'm just using moon water because it's supercharged. So pour your water into your small dish if you haven't already done so. This is my first time using moon water. I've been wanting to do it for a long time. You place your fingers in the water and touch your throat, your heart, and your third eye, and say, may my voice be clear. May my heart be brave. May my vision be sacred and true. I am not foolish, I am fierce. I am not judged, I am guided. I am not alone, I am aligned. I reclaim my voice, I reclaim my power. I reclaim my voice, I reclaim my power. And lastly, we're going to close and ground. So we close by thanking Hekate for guiding us on our journey with her torch, as she's the torchbearer, for illuminating the path that may be dark before us. Some of us may be navigating our shadow sides right now. And Hekate is there to guide us, and we appreciate you. Thank you. We honor you. Blow out your candles. Reflect on what you just did. If there were any visions that you had, any epiphanies, write them down. Your snack or your tea they're going to help ground you, and they're going to bring you back to your full energy. So this week, you don't need to figure everything out. Don't put that pressure on yourself. Just take one step that feels real and rooted, and that's it. One step in the direction of your one step in the direction towards your true authentic. One step in the direction of your true authentic path. See how it makes you feel. Sit with it, process it, feel all the feelings, maybe journal about it a little bit. You don't need to be ready, you just need to be real. Thank you guys so much for sharing this moment with me. This is the beginning of something wonderful, and I'm excited to have you along the journey with me. I'm excited to see where it takes me. I'm excited to see where it takes us. And I offer coachings. If any of this resonated with you, today, any of the astrology stuff, I would love to sit with you and do your chart and give you some interpretations. Your first coaching session is free. I'd love to spend 30 minutes, 60 minutes with you, depending on how long you want or need. And I would love to go on that journey with you to help you find whatever path is meant for you. So please subscribe or leave me a review. That would be awesome. I'm on Instagram, so connect with me there or send me a message. Until next time, keep singing your soul back home. Peace, love, and music, y'all.